Well, let's talk Trump now, because there was that incredible interview between Carlson and Vladimir Putin. I'm not quite sure what you thought about that. I thought it was insightful, at least. But, you know, if Trump had been president, then arguably Putin wouldn't have invaded Ukraine. We'll never know the answer to that, but it's certainly a theory. I believe that Trump has told his allies that he would encourage Russia to attack any NATO member that failed to meet the alliance's target of 2% of their GDP. I mean, are there risks associated with Trump for you now when it comes to the actual realpolitik of the world situation? I mean, Putin is now at war in Ukraine.
Yeah, well, I think, President Trump says a lot of things that are in jest. He says them half jokingly. He's very candid and he's very clever. He'll say things, but see, that riles everybody up. Of course, he's not going to let anybody attack a NATO ally, but the NATO allies haven't been paying their 2%. The United States carries the UN, and it's incredible how much they do that, and NATO. And so if people aren't paying their fair share, the amount that they pledged to pay, then he would put pressure on them. And I believe that's a pressure device. I don't think he would allow anybody to attack not Putin or anybody to attack a NATO alliance member. But however, Ukraine is not in NATO, and that's part of the whole problem. And NATO's been expanding, and if NATO expands, that's going to make Russia angry. I mean, it's not like it's rocket science rather.
Mm. Yeah, no, I agree completely. And when it comes as well to the controversy around the Carlson Putin interview, some people saying, we allowed Vladimir Putin to just put his side across. I thought one thing that really stood out to me was that he said that he hadn't spoken to Joe Biden since the start of the war. And I thought, well, that's clearly because Joe Biden can't actually talk to other world leaders, which is surely a massive danger. But what was your overall take on that Carlson Putin interview?
Listen, I'm so sick of getting my news filtered through NBC or through another whole news agency, the main media that you've always seen, the old school media. They're always censoring and changing things. Tucker Carlson is a journalist, and he wants to get to it. We believe in free speech here in the United States, so people should be able to speak, even if there's someone like Vladimir Putin who is waging a war. What is his side of the story? I always believe it's better to have more speech than less speech. Tucker Carlson believes the same, and he gave him a shot to say his words. Look, Fox fired Tucker Carlson for whatever reason. I think that was a huge mistake, and I've worked with Fox quite a bit. I love Tucker, and look what he's done. That interview has gotten, hundreds of millions of views, and you don't see that in mainstream media. You don't see those kind of numbers. So giving Vladimir Putin, I mean, it's the first time that most of us have seen him speak on something and get questions directly from a U.S. reporter who asks some tough questions. And obviously you see something just by watching the interview. It's clear that, he's not used to having conversations with reporters that are going to ask him questions that he might not like. It was a really insightful, very interesting interview.
I actually think it exposed a lot. I think it exposed a lot. People were saying, it was so softball, it was under. Well, firstly, he's in the Kremlin. Okay, so I mean, with respect, there is a limit to how far you're going to be able to push a guy when you're sitting in his own backyard and all of this. But I thought it was revealing.